Hi, and welcome to an introduction to site mapping. So when we talk about sitemaps for our website, the first question we ask ourselves is why do you need a sitemap? So sitemaps are a hierarchical diagram that's showing a structure of your website or application. The reason you need a sitemap and why you need one is because it helps to figure out what the structure of your site is going to be before you start making it. Sitemaps are used by experienced designers and information architects to determine and define the taxonomy of the site. They are an important step of user-centered design process as they ensure content is placed where users can find it. And they are also used as a reference point for wireframes, functional specifications, and content maps. So why do we use a sitemap? The number one thing is they show how the navigation should be structured. How am I structuring where my navigation is going in the sitemap or in my web page? So I've got my home page, that's where we're landing. What else is that top level navigation showing? That's a super important thing to figure out because if changing it after you've coded it takes quite a bit of time. Sitemaps also help identify where content will sit and what needs to be produced. They help to show the relationship between different pages, and they provide a structure upon which to begin estimates for development. And they're the first tangible deliverable showing what you will be creating. Typically, you're going to make this sitemap when you're in beginning conversations about creating a site or about when you're redesigning a site to say, hey, is the current structure of your site working? What are we adding to it? What are we needing to take away? Is there missing content? Is there missing call to actions? Are people missing what we need them to do? So this is where that sitemap really helps us begin our visual journey of the site. When do we create the sitemap? Sitemaps are normally produced after you've completed your persona and user journey work, and after you've completed your initial discovery period. They visualize what you have learned and how users will navigate the site, what sort of content they will need to support them in their goals, and what sort of language they use to identify things. It should also take into account the business objectives and any content which is required by the business to fulfill their overall strategy. So you've created your personas, you know who's going to be using this site. You've probably talked over with your client to say, hey, yes, we're making this. What are we trying to show on the site? What are our objectives? What are our goals? Who is using this site? And really starting to figure out how that information is going to be organized in a clean and concise manner. What a sitemap does, it defines and organizes every page of your website hierarchically. Number one, you're defining and organizing everything. You've got the content you need to put into the site, or you're needing to come up with content, you're needing to write content, you need to know where it goes. It sorts pages from most broad to most defined, and it keeps your entire design development SEO team coordinated. It also ensures that your UX strategy is on the right track. So your sitemap is saying, hey, let's organize all this content. If you have a large site or you've making a site for the first time, there may be a lot of content. Your client may want to say a lot of things. How are you organizing all the things that they're wanting to say and all the things they're wanting to convey to their end consumer and their end user in a nice, concise way? Also, if you're needing to write content for your site, how much content do you need to write? Where does it need to go? You can't just say, I need words. What words? Where do the words need to go? What are they going to look like? What a sitemap does not do, they do not define the content. That's coming in there. Copy points, illustrations, widgets, everything that's going in the forms of each individual page. They do not define the layout or hierarchy of information on a single page, and they don't define the visual layout. That's what you do as a designer. It's just letting you know how many pages you're going to need to do. Sitemaps do not tell you exactly what to put on your website, while they outline places on your website where you should put content and help you understand how much content you'll need. Sitemaps function as guidelines. Similarly, your sitemap will not define the hierarchy of content on an individual page. Your sitemap is a great jumping off point. So if you said, yes, we're going to have a contact me page, what's going on that contact page? You know you're going to have it. You can start figuring out what other content is going to go on there. The anatomy of sitemap. So, typical website will have 2 or 3 levels of navigation along with a variety of action items and such as forms of pop-up interactions. So, your sitemap typically has a home page, on your sitemap, it's kind of got to start with homepage, and that's part of your primary navigation. Your primary navigation, also referred to as parent pages, make up all your main level navigation of your website. These pages are at the topmost level of your site. Secondary navigation, also referred to as child pages or secondary pages. These are most often seen as drop-down items, so drop-down menu. They're one level deeper than the primary navigation. Tertiary pages, these are often located one level deeper than your secondary. Often these pages will not be visible in the site's navigation. An example of this would be product pages or on e-commerce. So if I said, hey, I saw a product, can I get more information? This becomes a child page. Call to action items, usually highlighted separately. They often take the form of a button that you click to complete an action, or examples of this would include a donation button or a shopping cart. Usually these items are located in or near the main navigation of the website. Special file types, interactive or downloadable elements such as forms, downloadable PDFs, and documents may be identified in a sitemap. And then external links. Important links to external websites that they are likely to be included in the header or footer of the website, such as social media channels and affiliate partner websites should be included. So all of those, if you look at our nice graphic here, homepage, primary, secondary, tertiary, call to action, special, those are the things that are going to go in your sitemap. It's not telling you all the things, it's not telling you your content, it's just organizing what needs to go where. And then how do I create a sitemap? If you download this PowerPoint, you'll be able to get some nice links to some tools that will help you. But the actual physical tools for a sitemap can be anything. Typically, a lot of people will grab Post-it notes. And if you're looking to redesign a site or create a new site, start writing down what you think might be top level and second level navigation items. You can move those around, as you see here, where I can decide, oh yeah, move this. Oh, do we think that's really important enough to be top level? Let's go ahead and move it down a level. Do we think this is getting too many clicks deep into the site for people to get to? How are they navigating back? This way you can move and rearrange your site as you need to without getting too involved in a digital document for your sitemap. Once you have maybe your Post-it notes set, then you can create a much more beautiful, well-organized sitemap. It is important to note that your sitemap can be changed and rearranged anytime during this design process. If you realize that, hey, my sitemap isn't working, I need to add a new category, we've expanded the business, we need to add more things, we're going to move stuff around. At any time, you're allowed to change and update your sitemap. So be open to change and be open to updating your sitemap as you work through your design. However, it's important to have a sitemap and everybody on task and on target, knowing where stuff will go as you're working. Good luck and have fun creating your sitemap for your site.